fantastic weekend, whether you were showing love to someone else or yourself. I hope you felt some love. Do you know what I absolutely adored? So I had a Galentine's. I went out with one of my gal pals. And I'm not even kidding, like the Galentine's posts, like the girlies were doing it for each other and themselves. Just letting it be clear, like if we can do this for ourselves and for the besties, like I don't want to hear it, no low effort nonsense if we're in actual relationships. Thank you very much. Right, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe button, please. So sorry I have been away, not even because I was tired or anything like that on this occasion, literally because the internet in my area went down. Very annoying. But I am back. And but just as well, a lot happened when I was gone, so we've got a lot to talk about. Yeah, today's gonna be a long podcast. I wouldn't be surprised if we went over by about 2 hours today. So let's get to it. Who's in the chat first? Hey, Black Queen. What a queen you are. Hey, CCQ. Fancy, fancy. Hey, Gwen. Carol. Louise. Helen. All right. Barbara. Electra. Marcy. Hello. Hey, Gabby. Right. So many cool new pics. So first of all, let's start off with Meghan's Valentine's pic of Harry and Lily. Lily with her long, gorgeous ginger hair and a bit of a side profile. Now, in this picture, sorry, give me one sec, folks. In this picture, from the side profile, who do you think she's looking like? I feel like I can see a little, like, from the side profile, I feel like she looks like Harry. But I remember there was another picture that kind of leaked. I never posted it online, but if you were, if you were on the internet streets, you saw it. And in that picture, honestly, to me, she looked a lot more like Harry. But kids do change as they grow. But yeah, it's quite amazing. She seems like she's got Harry's ginger hair and his straight hair texture. And she looking adorable with her papa. Very cute pic from Meghan, both of her Valentines. And yeah, that looks like it was, I can see the two trees in the background, so that looks like it was taken in their backyard. And just look at how happy Harry is, unbothered. It is such a jarring comparison to see Harry and his kid happy, free, peaceful, unbothered, and completely and utterly unattached to the chaos. I mean, now I'm even wondering more and more and more, why did they even ever suggest half in, half out? Why? I mean, I guess they didn't, Harry wanted to serve the monarch, right? He's still a monarchist, but even half in, half out would have been a disaster for Harry and Meghan. It would have been a disaster because let's just say the firm had agreed to half in, half out, right? Would Harry and Meghan have been able to stay attached to the firm and not faced any criticism? And then the way the firm would have used them as a shield. Whoo, I'm glad they are out of that mess. Anyway, gorgeous picture. Adorable. And then we have Harry and Meghan did go out for a date night. I think this was the day before. These were taken the day before Valentine's. So just very casual and chill. Is it cold in Cali? Does California yeah, I guess maybe some parts of California might get a bit cold. But I always thought it was a very tropical climate. Anyway, that was at them out on date night, just being very chill. And then they also popped up at a game. And it was quite a star-studded game as well. There were quite a few celebrities there. They all sat right next to Queen Latifah. Hello. The Obamas were also there. Chris Tucker was there. People just staying out of drama and minding their business and being fabulous and being in the front row. Love it. Um, let me just open. Let me open Instagram, see if I can get any more details about them at the game. Let's see. So this was the 2026 NBA All-Star Game held at the Inuit Dome. Meghan's agent, Jill Smoller, was also there and accompanying them. And yes, the Obamas and other figures were there too, just enjoying a date night. Just Kaz, happy. See if there's any other details. No. Let's see. No, that was it. And I don't think they did anything else while they were there either. So yeah, just sweet happy pics at the game. No booing either. Unlike some vice presidents who get booed at at sports events. By the way, speaking of sports events, apparently they are FIFA are panicking about the World Cup. And let me just say, I don't wish bad on anyone except for FIFA in the World Cup, and I hope the whole thing flops. Because I'm even hearing now that if you're a tourist and you want to go and watch, they want to see your social media. They want to see if you've been criticizing, the president or the administration. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. All right, I think those are all the cute pictures. Was there anything else before we get on to the drama? No, I think that was all. So we can get on. Well, I'll read some of your comments and then we'll get on to the actual nitty gritty news. But just great to see Harry and Meghan happy and having a good time, no? And being away from the mess. Yeah, exactly. The prince and princess sat next to a real queen, a self-made queen, a real one in the game. Princess Elizabeth has Meghan's button nose. You think? Harry and Meghan left the UK I think it was like 2020. Yeah, I mean the media is still trying to use them to deflect from the PDF files EpiPen drama. That's what I'm calling it now. That's what we're calling it now. So the YouTube censors don't start messing us up on the algorithm. The PDF file EpiPen drama. You said you love the coat. Yeah, it's like a quilted puffer jacket, no? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's like a quilted, but it's like the brown has this almost shine to it. I wouldn't even say golden, but like it just has a shine. Oh, I like it's chilly at night. It's a desert cloud. Okay. Sam, you said I think his loyalty to his family was his compromise, but they don't have the same loyalty to him. Yeah. Lily looks like a young Diana. I actually agree with that. I think she does. Um, Diana's genes won for sure. She said, "Ain't none of my grandchildren looking like no Windsor. Absolutely not." Cozy Life. The British media can't handle it because they have to talk about Andrew and Charles' drama. I mean, they're trying to avoid it as much as possible, or they're trying to find ways to divert. So, for example, I have noticed the last few days in the Times, the Telegraph, and in the Daily Fail, a lot of the articles being printed. I guess we can get onto the drama now. Thank you for your comments. A lot of the articles being printed are focused around. Oh no, that's Willie. That's something else. They're focused around. Andrew leaked this dossier to this executive or this world leader person in this country. Andrew met with a Chinese spy. Andrew was involved in the Icelandic banking drama. Blah blah blah. It's like they're moving away from Andrew is an absolute nonce, and we need to focus on. Well, I mean, we need to focus on multiple things, but the most important thing is the victims of the PDF file EpiPen. That's the most important thing. But they're trying to move away from that and go on to Andrew was doing things that are risky for British national security. So this is just my prediction. They're trying to. Well, I predicted this before that they were going to try and make Andrew the fall person, but they're now trying to create a narrative of Andrew is dangerous to the UK, and that is a much bigger problem than Andrew being a nonce. So we need to focus on Andrew being dangerous to the UK. Andrew's an enemy to the state. Andrew's dangerous. And I guess they think that that is somehow going to be the way in which they focus the public's attention somewhere else and just get away from the EpiPen situation entirely. And it's also a way, I think, of perhaps keeping Andrew in check and throwing him under the bus in a way that doesn't directly address his nonce behavior. I have seen some reports of the Met police claiming that they're doing some kind of investigation. I mean, they've been investigating Andrew for how long now? Is anybody showing up to the royal estate to make an arrest? Not that I can see. I mean, I always try to be careful not to go down, conspiracy theory rabbit hole or talk about anything that I don't know as fact. But honestly, would it surprise me if Andrew or Fergie end up unalive? No, it honestly wouldn't surprise me at this point because I don't think that the royal household know what to do. The right thing to do is full accountability for Andrew, but that would also mean full accountability for them because now William's implicated in the EpiPen files. His charity's money is implicated in the EpiPen files. There's now more questions about what did the royals know about Andrew and EpiPen, and where did the money for the payout actually come from? And it would appear that the royals just did not see anything wrong with what Andrew was doing, that they did not care. And are we surprised? No. There's a long history of shady figures being linked to these people, and they're all shady themselves. Keeping it real. They're all shady. And now they're just on this merry-go-round panicking. What do we do with Andrew? What do we do with Fergie? Fergie is apparently threatening to write a book. This from Henry VIII on Twitter. She said Charles made a deal. He and Andrew teamed up to remove the Queen's annoying private secretary. Charles got a Queen consort rather than a princess. William was too busy helicoptering between homes. And then there is the uncomfortable truth that two men with power and money just might not think that what Andrew did was wrong. And this in response to this tweet from Peter Hunt showing the Queen endorsing Andrew. And to be honest with you, I don't know why people didn't get more angry after this particular incident. This was at Philip's memorial. Had Andrew front and center. They could have chosen to put him in the middle, in the back, but no, they had him right up next to the Queen. And I don't know how people didn't get more angry at that. That's when you needed a crisis manager to say that was a foolish idea. And then having him ride up in the front in the car with William and Kate. That's what you needed a crisis manager for. The crisis manager now is too late. Oh boy. Okay, let's read some analysis on this. Oops, daisy. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how the next few weeks is gonna, or next year really is gonna unfold. Because I don't know where they go from here. Irene, Andrew was accused of spying since early 2000s. Andrew isn't going anywhere, and the entire rules are in the EpiPen documents reveal. Now, it's interesting that you should say this about Andrew spying. There is an author, do forgive me, I forget his name, but there is an author who wrote a book about the royals. This is from an interview where I saw him talking. I'm gonna find that piece of footage so we can actually play it on the podcast, so you know that I'm not just talking out of thin air. But he said in this interview that there was another scandal regarding the royals that was going to come out, and it was going to be about national security. And that could well be, Irene, what it is. Either Andrew or Fergie selling secrets or doing dodgy deals that compromise UK national security. Now, to the royalists who continue to defend this family and defend this institution, even in the face of allegations of serious abuse and them being linked to abusers over decades. Part of the reason that you will defend this institution so much is because you want to believe, is because it's so attached to your sense of self and national identity. And you want to believe that the royal institution is a safeguard for British identity. Now, if individual members of the royal family are potentially selling secrets or compromising national security in any kind of way, what then? And what action is going to be taken if that is true? I'm actually going to go back. There was an incident with Fergie some time back, wasn't there? With like the fake shake or something like this, where she took money. It wouldn't surprise me at all, because these people are desperate. Even with all their privilege, they seem to be so desperate for money still. How much more money? It's got to be an addiction at this point. Granted, we still don't really have clarity about royal money. Who gets what and how much? But I think we're starting to understand maybe how they just squander so much. Helicopter rides everywhere. I read one article that said that Fergie would regularly ask the royal staff on a nightly basis to put out a banquet, a whole banquet, like a royal banquet for dinner. and it would just go to waste night after night because obviously they would only eat a bit of it. That's how self-important these people think they are. That's where they're wasting all this money. Yeah, I really do believe that something is about to come out about these people that's really going to tip things over the edge. Because, like I said, for some people, abuse, being a PDF file, I'm learning shock horror isn't a deal breaker. But perhaps if treason, literal treason against the state comes into the picture, maybe some people will change their minds. Maybe that will be the deal breaker. I don't know. But I think that Andrew and Fergie need to sleep with an eye open at this point. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So the Sun basically decided all this time after to confirm on their front page that Andrew's 2022 settlement money came from the Queen, Charles, and Philip. Now I don't know what money Philip had, because Philip just been the Queen's side chick all this time. He was the Queen's side chick with another side chick. So I don't know what money Philip had to be given anyone. So I would say that the money came from the Queen and Charles. So back then it was reported that the sum was about 12 million. Now we also knew at the time that Andrew had borrowed the settlement money from his mother. It's interesting that they used the word borrowed, because how was he going to pay it back? He wasn't even a working royal. How does Andrew make money? He doesn't. So at the time, sources swore up and down that Andrew would be forced to pay back the money. And then all of those threats and claims just disappeared. Of course they did, because it was rubbish. And the Sun now, all of a sudden, has grown a conscience and wants to break down. Now they want to tell us exactly where the money came from. So apparently, this is from the Sun. The Victoria Newton, Rupert Murdoch's son. The late Queen is said to have given 7 million and another 3 million from Prince Philip's estate. Okay, from his estate. And another 1.5 million was paid by Charles. And with other royals also chipping in. Oh, so the whole family chipped in for Uncle Nonce Andrew, huh? So the disgraced Andrews plan to flog a Swiss ski chalet to repay the millions in royal family loans collapsed after he made next to nothing from the sale. The sources had suggested Andrew would use proceeds from offloading the £19 million property. I mean, how did he afford that £19 million property in the first place? They don't work. But he said to have made little or nothing, as a chalet in posh Swiss resort Verber was saddled with heavy mortgage debt. You know, when they talk about royal money like this, Andrew's £12 million property, these writers, this is why I don't call them journalists. These ragmag writers have a duty, I think, to start digging more about royal money. Because where did he get the money for a 19 million estate, which isn't even within the United Kingdom, by the way? It's in Switzerland. A 19 million estate in Switzerland. Now, if it was a royal estate in the UK, I could maybe believe, I don't know, maybe it was part of his inheritance. Maybe he's entitled to it because of his title or something like that. But where is he getting 19 million to drop that money on a Swiss estate? As far as anyone knows, he still has not repaid a single penny from the millions he borrowed. Well, how is he going to repay? He doesn't work. Is he going to go off to another country like Charles does and get cash money bags from foreign entities? Is that how he's going to pay back? How is he going to pay back? The Windsors agreed to fund the settlement, believing it would help draw a line under the scandal ahead of the Platinum Jubilee. Ah, so they did do it. They did it so that the Queen could have a nice little jubilee, a jubilee, a jubaba, without any drama. Andrew lied to his own family about the extent of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So now they're trying. So in this article, they're also trying to distance the other members of the royal family from Andrew's relationship with EpiPen. Anyway, the article goes on to say, I always wondered about where the money came from, and all this time I just assumed that the Queen simply gave Andrew the settlement money from the Duchy of Lancaster funds, which is the private piggy bank of the monarch, which it was also widely assumed in 2022 that Charles was regent in all but name, and that he got to sign off on the payment. Little did we know that Charles also contributed to the settlement too, and that they used a chunk of Philip's estate as well. Why in the world did they split it up like that? I'm not surprised. That's a good question. Would anybody have an explanation as to why they would do that? Why in the world would they split it up like that? Now, I'm not surprised that Andrew hasn't paid any of the money back. When they stopped talking about it, I think most of us understood that Andrew was never going to pay the money back. In fact, Andrew's version of events is that he only settled with Virginia because he didn't want the trial to overshadow his mother's Jubilee celebrations. For 4 years, I've been writing for royal sources to draw a line between the Guthrie settlement and another significant story that same month. The Queen publicly stating that Camilla should be named Queen Consort when Charles became king. Okay, so that could be why Charles put some money forward. That was what Charles got out of the Andrew debacle. Charles squeezed his mother to sign off on Queen Consort Camilla. In exchange, Charles signed off on the settlement. Well, there you go. And what did Philip get? Well, I guess Philip got his secrets locked in a chamber for another 99 years. We won't get to know about anything about Philip for another 99 years. And what's in his will. Philip got his secrets kept secret. Charles got Camilla, now calling her queen. Not even Queen Consort, queen. So that makes a lot of sense now. Why Charles would have signed off on that money. Absolutely wild. All right, let's get your comments and then we will get on to the next thing because there's quite a few things to get through. Wendy, you said nothing is going to come with Andrew and Fergie. They know too much. The police isn't doing a damn thing, but spin everyone knew instead to cover it up. Listen, this could go. I'm leaving everything out in the open. This could go any type of ways. Any type of ways. Because these people are desperate. They're desperate for this to go away. They're desperate to now spin a whole nother narrative so we forget about the main story here. They're all... they all know that they know each other's secrets. And they're all walking this weird tightrope. It's like, who's going to blink first? Oh, Helen, he said it was Sophie that was embroiled in the Sheikh begging for money. Well, there you go. They all seem to be begging for money. I just don't understand it. How is a whole royal family always begging for money? To the point where you had a prince and his crazy clown ex-wife going to people like EpiPen to beg for money. It's insane. Philip was broke when he married. Indeed, he was just a side chick. So they've obviously put money into his estate over the years. Um, Hazeletta, he owed the woman he bought the house from. She had to sue. Yeah. Electro, he said none of these people work. They're all side chicks in the UK. The world's most expensive side chicks. Um, okay. Helen, you said let Fergie spill the tea. It's gonna be a wild year for the Royals. Okay, let's move on to William. Now, let me first start off by saying that I do not think that the Charity Commission is going to do anything regarding William's involvement with this so-called Sultan that gave 1 million, and he's now linked to the EpiPen files as well. This is the same Charity Commission that said that Sophie Chanduka didn't do anything bad by destroying Centre Barley. FYI, them Centre Barley financials this year will be interesting. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for someone getting exposed and their karma. So this from Telebichi. Prince William's Earthshot might be investigated by the UK Charity Commission. Now, I think we all, when Liza, I was told it was Liza Ravencroft, when she was hired as Prince William's, there's no crisis here, but I'm hiring a crisis manager, that it was something to do with William and Kate's marriage. But it would appear it was for something else entirely. I also think that part of Liza being brought on was to tame William's obsession with his brother, which has become an institutional crisis. But ultimately, I think she was brought in to deal with the fallout from the EpiPen related scandals. Now, the EpiPen files are a major crisis for the monarchy, obviously, but it's not just about Andrew's sordid relationship with EpiPen. It's how EpiPen had so much access and he had relationships with some powerful international figures that are linked to the monarchy. Figures like Sultan Ahmed bin Salam, who emailed back and forth with EpiPen for years. At one point, according to a newly released email, bin Salam sent EpiPen a torture video. Well, bin Salam is the CEO of DP World, which is the founding partner of Prince William's Earthshot. And DP World donated 1 million to Earthshot. At least what we know. That's just the money that we know that he gave. With these things, we don't know what backdoor money they be given. What money William be stuffing in suitcases when he comes back from Dubai or Saudi. We don't know. So William also had a photo op with bin Salem in 2022 in Dubai. That was when he was planting trees. And now Republic, which is the Not Our King anti-monarchy folk, have filed a complaint with the Charity Commission. The same Charity Commission that investigated Centre Barley. Now, let me just say, while I don't think that the Charity Commission are going to do anything, I think it is a very good idea that Republic did this, because between this, Sophie Chanduka, and anything else that might come, it's leaving a paper trail of the Charity Commission being incompetent. So it's still very worthwhile that Republic are doing this. So thank you to Republic. Graham Smith, Republic's chief executive, told Newsweek, William has to explain his relationship and what he's known about this man and distance himself from him. Let me tell you something. It is dodgy regardless. Regardless. Even if they didn't know, even if they didn't know who this man was, it is dodgy regardless that Earthshot is tied up with him. But if it comes out that there was someone in the Earthshot team that sounded an alarm, that anyone sounded an alarm, and William and Jason off and the Earthshot people went ahead with this anyway, we've taken the money anyway, burn it all to the ground. I said what I said. Because what do you mean you took £1 million from someone who was emailing EpiPen talking about I like the torture video? What do you mean? And I think that William should absolutely be made to answer. What did you know about Sulayem? What did you know? So the Charity Commission spokesperson said, "We are aware of the concerns about sources of funding to the Earthshot Prize. We are assessing this information to determine any next steps and if there is a role for the commission." Graham Smith at Republic is really going for it, like he smells blood in the water. I think we all do. Good for him. He's pretty much the only person demanding that William is held to the same standards as everyone else. And, you know, notice how quiet all the MPs in government are being. And they can't even say anything because when they're sworn in as MPs, they have to make an allegiance to the crown. Now, do I think the Charity Commission will do anything? Of course not. They really effed over Santabale and they basically said it was okay for Sophie Chandawika to liquidate the charity's coffers and decimate Santabale's services, all because Harry shouldn't have walked away from royal life. The fix is in, I'm sure, but that's just it. Even if the Charity Commission does nothing, which was likely what will happen, there's a steady drumbeat of scandal around William too. It was easy for the British press to shrug off one second-hand EpiPen connection, but William is now associated with several people intimately connected to Epstein, including William's buddy, Donald Trump. Additionally, in People magazine's reporting of this story, they reached out to Earthshot and they didn't get an on-the-record response, but they did get this. People understands Earthshot is talking to the DP World management team over the matter. Surely the way to handle this would be to openly declare that Earthshot does not want to be associated with anyone involved with EpiPen or torture videos, and that Earthshot is returning DP World's 7-figure donation. That's not going to happen. And like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if William took any pocket change through the back door. A few cash money bags for himself. Yes, Gwen, I believe that William's dangerous. I mean, pushing his brother on a dog bowl, showing up to his wedding smelling of alcohol, apparently. I'm so glad that you're enjoying your yummy chocolates, Patricia. Yes, Wendy, God don't like ugly. You don't like ugly. Gonna take them down one by one. And William's also involved with other dodgy people regarding his charities. It's not just EpiPen. The guy that he's involved with one of his homeless charities is also a little bit dodgy and linked to I can't remember and I don't want to misspeak, so maybe I'll bring it up again in another podcast. But there's other dodgy people that William is linked to. And you know, William's trip to Saudi, it was met with very, very mixed reviews. I mean, obviously, the end goal for... Oh, I've got the wrong slide up. The end goal is whatever business dealings the British government sent him there for. somebody wrote, "You thought there was nothing left to know about the secrets of the House of Windsor. Don't believe it for a second. Now Fergie, who's always greedily chased money and lived way beyond her means, may feel she has no choice. The monarchy is deep in crisis. The toxic fallout from the Andrew saga is poisoning the whole institution. While William aimlessly plants trees in Saudi, Kate is all but invisible after her illness, and the king is still battling cancer. And Sophie and Edward are trying to keep the show off the road, but there's only so much they can do. Ain't nobody cares about them three. I'm sorry." And apparently does 15,354,000 engagements a year, and I never know what she does. Also, another thing that you should know, I think I've mentioned this in the past. You know, I traveled very heavily back in 2023 across multiple countries. Royal news does not travel beyond the UK unless it's something massive, like literally two royals leaving. Then it becomes a story. But these day-to-day things, like William planting a tree, or Charles and Camilla going to doing some movie premiere thing. Charles apparently had something going on with a streaming service, and they had an event for that. That doesn't make news anywhere else. And so the royals are now battling with the reality that they're not relevant outside of the UK. The international tours are getting less and less. People aren't as interested in them anymore. Charles and Camilla at their age can't really be out. Well, it's not necessarily even their age. I'm gonna say, let me rephrase that. Charles and Camilla, Camilla at her choice of fitness level, and Charles with his illness, because I've seen 60, 70, 80-year-old bodybuilders. Where they are, they can't be doing international tours. Kate and William can't seem to stand each other, which is why I think they're not doing international tours, because they are grueling. It doesn't really land as well if only one of them goes on tour. So they're losing this, or they're pretty much lost this international allure. William and Kate haven't been on an international tour, I think, since is it 2014? When was the Caribbean tour? When was that time we were rolling around in colonizer cosplay in Jeeps? Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan are going on tours that they're invited to, and bringing something to the table wherever they go, not just showing up empty-handed, and educating people wherever they go, not just smiling and waving here and there. It's just the contrast is incredible. And the royal family have set themselves up for failure themselves. Now, moving on to Kate. This is what I'm going to say about this. I actually tweeted about this, and my gosh, that tweet seems to have gone viral because a lot of people agree. I do not think that it is appropriate for our schools to be helping the royals with their propaganda. Having Kate go and visit children in a school and be photographed there, I think is twisted propaganda, if you ask me. Knowing what we know about what's in those EpiPen files, what was happening to women and children, and then you have Kate here sitting next to children, trying to, I don't know, using children as a shield. Oh, look, it's so cute, the princess and the children. But they've said nothing of any value regarding what was going on with EpiPen and Andrew. I don't know if they, mind you, this is a very, I think, last minute thing that they planned. I don't know if they tell the parents in advance that the royals are coming, I would hope that they at least ask the parents, are you okay with your children being filmed? Because this would absolutely peeve me off. And I'm not going to say it. You can see the picture. Look at the two children who are sitting right next to Kate. They do it every single time. Every single time. Um, Charles the Sneaky Prince is that revenge on the Queen's promise serves them all right. Hmm. The world has moved on to the Sussexes. Young Brits prefer Harry and Meghan. Indeed. Young Brits, and I think, just young people who, are engaged in social media, engaged in celebrity news. I think the beauty of what Harry and Meghan are doing is what they are building. Eventually will not need their name and face at the front of it. Meghan's products are amazing. They get an extra boost. The As Ever brand gets an extra boost because it's attached to her, but it's a great brand with great products, period. So there are people that are going to buy and enjoy that brand who may not even follow Meghan, follow the royal family, care for all the drama or whatever. They're just going to buy it eventually when it hits those store shelves because it's a good brand. And it will grow and thrive because it's a good brand. Harry getting involved in that organization that works with, workplace mental health and corporate structuring. I forget what it's called. Is it Better Health? Or Better Up? Yeah, so he's involved with that. Invictus, of course it's Harry's, but it stands on its own. It's Invictus. And Harry can actually leave Invictus or take his hands off of it, and Invictus will still thrive. So everything they're doing is strong enough to stand on its own as a brand, as an entity. Yes, it's got the boost of Harry and Meghan, but everything they do is just good. And they're building things, building companies, producing things that are just good. And that is actually very powerful. Because then it doesn't rely on you being there. It doesn't rely on you. It doesn't even rely on people having interest in you. That's where the royal family are struggling, because the interest relies on them. People are losing interest and people are becoming impatient. Cho Decisi, you said you are right, and that charity commission is just chusa. They never bite. So the heir is unbothered. He's always allowed to be this way. Yeah. I mean, let's see what else comes out. I feel like we haven't even seen the beginning of it yet. All right. Was there anything else that I wanted to mention before we move along? Oh, yes. Almost forgot about this. So over at the As Ever shop, speaking of As Ever, we've got some new bundles. So we've actually got now the complete pantry, go to hostess gift, and the When the Day Slows sets that has the tea, candle. I love the way that they're grouping all the products, really like making As Ever part of your whole day. That picture that you can see is an actual order from a squaddy. This squaddy knows something that we don't. This squaddy knows that World War III is coming next week, and they've stocked up to make sure that they have enough As Ever to get through the hard times. I'm assuming that if you buy the bundles, everything is a little bit more discounted. So that's up on the As Ever site. So I want to check, was there anything else that I did not cover before we wrap things up? No, I think I covered that. I think I covered everything. Oh, what was this? Oh, yes, there was this. Okay, I think this was the last thing that I needed to. Oh, there's two things I need to touch upon. The Valentine's Day photograph that William and Kate posted. Now, this is actually from an older photo shoot. This is not the first time that they have done this. They tend to recycle photos from photo shoots. Whereas in the past, it was royal tradition to always take new photos for holidays, birthdays, you name it. This is actually, I think, the second time that William and Kate have posted a Valentine's Day post. I don't think this is something that they ever did before. Wonder why they started doing it. copying, copying Harry and Meghan. And Rebecca English, who writes the Daily Mail, she posted taken last April in Norfolk. So she actually made a point to point out that this is a photo from an old photo shoot. This is not a new photo. And I think that I Am Sage is correct. Rebecca does come off as angry. And you know why Rebecca is angry? She's angry because old photos don't have value. She's angry because they haven't got any new photos of the kids. She's angry because she's not going to be able to buy herself a new pair of designer shoes this month because William and Kate didn't provide new photos of Valentine's Day. Mind you, I find it very, it just lacks so much self-awareness that William and Kate would post this. Is this some sorry attention to make me forget about 3 million emails? Is this some sorry attempt to make me not question what they knew about Andrew and EpiPen? A Valentine's Day photo from an old photo shoot. And now you've even got the royal reporters out here acting crazy and asking questions. Why an old photo? It's an old photo because I don't think these two can stand to sit and do a whole photo shoot. I don't think they enjoy being in each other's presence at all. Oh, is that Cat Harlem? Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. It was my understanding that the permission for school-age kids to be photographed with royals is signed by parents when they enrolled their children in school. Wow. Wow. Well, that would be a no from me. I would not be allowing my child to be used for propaganda. Thank you very much for that comment, Cat Harlem. And quite frankly, at this point, the royals just need to be away from kids. Keep them away from kids. Lily, you said Prince Harry has his own. Yeah, Travelist as well. I mean, Travelist again is an organization doing amazing things. Everything that Harry and Meghan are attaching themselves to is well organized, well oiled. Jodeci, you said Andrew Loney, the historian, biographer, and royal writer, has been promoting his book entitled "The Rise and Fall of the House of York." Butts up lots of gaudy details. Interesting. Is he a Harry and Meghan hater, or is he neutral? Yes, Wendy Lilibet is definitely ginger. Choda CC said Norman Baker, former MP, warned William 4 years earlier. Okay, I have to look this up because I haven't seen this come up on my feed. So we can discuss this in the next podcast. Thank you for mentioning that. I was not aware of that. So if he knew, why did William go ahead and take that money? And also, again, I posed this. I think I posed this question a couple of years ago when we talked about Earthshot. Why is it that they can only seem to get money for this charity that is being run by the future king? They can only seem to get money from very dodgy figures. Isn't that interesting? Why does nobody of substance want to donate to this? Mind you, Earthshot is it's a big production. It's a big production with a lot of the actual Earthshot itself, right? Taking away the fact that we don't like William, it's actually a decently organized event. The event is organized well. The show is executed well. The way in which the prize money, the people who are chosen to get the prize money, they are genuinely people that are doing good work. It's just unfortunate that William and the organization doesn't know how to promote them properly. So the concept and everything itself, it's actually a good concept and it's a good show and it's well put together. So the question is, why does no one then of substance want to be involved to the point where they can't seem to find donors who aren't dodgy? It's almost as if everybody else smells a dying rat. ZPDN, you said Becky has to tread carefully. Everyone knows she makes up ish and use cheating tactics. Yeah. They're all I think panicking in these royal rota circles because now that William has this new crisis manager, I think that is going to change the tone of how things work between the royals and the tabloids. And I think the tabloids don't like that. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap things up there. Thank you as always. Really appreciate you. Appreciate you all showing up. Always appreciate your comments, your time, your presence. Links in the description box if you would like to donate. Always appreciated. Please do take care of yourselves. Cover yourselves in prayer. Remember to take time for your mental health. Get off the internet and go touch grass. Go take a walk. Do what gives you joy, as Megan would say. Cook, make candles, crochet, whatever it is that keeps your mind clear and healthy. And I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.